Hey guys, what's cracking? We're here doing another video. Basically, it's going to be a follow-up to our episode number 6, basically talking about why we moved to New Brunswick. So we've gathered the 7 most common questions, and we're going to answer, or I'm going to answer them here today. Jazz is actually not feeling well. She's a bit under the weather. So if you guys can, just leave her some well wishes in the comments, and I'll read those to her. That will certainly brighten up her day. Before anything, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my awesome friend Jake at House of Fade for this lovely haircut and beard shape up here. I did manage to get it in before before New Brunswick, or before Moncton went into the orange phase. So thank you so much for making me pretty. I really appreciate that. Anyways, so for the first question here, what changed your mind to consider New Brunswick, since it's a completely different lifestyle from Toronto? And the best answer for that is I think I was just ready. I can't really speak for Jazz, but I can almost say the same thing. We knew coming out here it was going to be a completely different lifestyle. I wasn't going to be partying anymore. I wasn't going to be DJing as much, like 2, 3, 4 nights a week. It was just I just knew it's a completely different lifestyle, and I had to prepare myself for that. Coming from somebody that had over 200 pairs of shoes, it's a lot different. Nobody cares out here. Nobody really gives a shit that you're wearing, the latest Yeezys, or, you're rocking the latest Jordans or whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What they care about here is completely different than what people care about in Toronto or bigger markets. So you just have to be prepared on how to cope with this. It is very life-changing. If you're somebody that enjoys being outdoors or likes outdoor activities such as hiking, kayaking, biking, whatever, like, this is honestly a fun place to be. It's great. And when you do make that change, if you make that change, just prepare yourselves, because it's a completely different lifestyle change. For me, it took about a good month for me to just actually relax. So, when I first got here, I was still like that go person. Hey, let's go check out what kind of nightlife Moncton has. Moncton doesn't have any nightlife. I'm gonna put it out there right now. Maybe I've heard stories that it did in the past, but it certainly doesn't now. And especially not during the COVID lockdown. Moncton is back in an orange zone. So, nobody's having any sorts of fun at all. But that's why we wanted to build that lounge in the forest there, is because, we want to at least have some sort of fun experience for people that do actually come out here, that want to have a fun experience in the woods, in the forest, but they still get to listen to awesome music. That's so dope. So, that's why we have that coming up. How is the job market? Is it easy to get jobs out here? Are there lots of jobs? Is it easy to get one coming from another province? There was an article in the Huffington Post a few months ago saying that Moncton was, in fact, the best place in Canada to get a job. I know it's a little misleading, because it's like, okay, well, what kind of jobs, right? It really depends on the industry that you're in. For me, I am the global marketing director for an engineering company. A lot of engineering companies really don't have a marketing department. But what I did was I took my skills that I had at my previous position with the toy company, and I brought my skills here. Okay, so there's a lot of there could be a lot of work out here. It just really depends on what type of work you're looking for. If you're in the construction industry or the trades or whatever, it's amazing. It's great. It's busy. You know, if you're a general contractor, you will be busy. I can even refer you to some jobs if you need to. Now, in Jazz's situation, it's a little different. You know, she came from the tech industry. So she actually had a position where it doesn't even exist in New Brunswick. It's companies like that just don't exist here. So it really depends. Now, you know, for people that are that have an accounting background or bookkeeping background back in Ontario or whatever, if you come out here, why don't you try considering going into business for yourself? You know, believe it or not, Moncton and New Brunswick in general is a booming area right now. You know, there's been articles, news articles, national news articles of people moving from Toronto or Ontario, sight unseen, to New Brunswick during this COVID time. And it, you know, there's people moving here. I'm glad that we made the move before the whole COVID thing, and it's actually funny that we made the newspaper within the first 3 months on the front cover, above the fold, no less. So that was pretty fun. But the job market here is cool. You know, there are lots of jobs. It really depends on how picky you are for work. You know, the salaries might be a little lower, but you know, so are the housing costs. So it really depends. It really depends on how picky you are and what industry you're in. But yes, there are jobs available, and if you really don't care on what type of work you're doing, why not give it a shot? This place is for you. So a lot of people have also asked us on Facebook or on Instagram about our real estate agent. You know, I've mentioned his name a few times in a couple videos, and even in the first one, his name is Nick Dunfield. So Nick is a realtor for Keller Williams. Now, he is actually the top producer right now for Keller Williams. He is #1 in the province. He's good at what he does. He is not a sleazy real estate agent. He's very down to earth, and you know, believe it or not, he was the third agent that we tried, or that we reached out to before we could actually get some traction on any sort of movement to New Brunswick. I had a friend who moved here. He referred me to his real estate agent, and she didn't even get back to us. Okay, on one of the properties that we were looking at, I tried to contact the listing agent, and that listing agent didn't even get back to me. So I'm not sure if it's because you're from another province that you know, oh, these guys are just kicking tires or whatever. But when we got in touch with Nick, he answered our questions. And then when we got here, because we did fly here to you know, to check out the houses, you know, Nick took us to all the properties that we wanted to take a look at, and it was amazing. And when we got back to Toronto and we were trying to narrow our options down on which property we actually wanted, Nick was available. Nick was available at all times. You know, if you text him, you call him, he drops everything and he's focused on you. So yes, he is busy. He does have a lot of clients, but when he's working with you, he treats you as if you're his only client, and that's amazing. You know, he lives 5 minutes away, and you know, we'll go to each other's houses and we'll have beers. So yes, we did work with an awesome real estate agent, but now I have a lifelong friend. So there's Nick Dunfield. I will leave his contact information in the description below. And number 4, do you guys have a doctor? What do you do in the meantime if you get sick? So as we mentioned before, once you move here, you need to put yourself on a waiting list for a doctor, because there's just not enough doctors here, and with the boom that that the province is getting, there's just a need for more doctors. Thankfully, we haven't been in the situation where we needed to see a doctor right away. We're trying to stay as healthy as we can, but there was one situation where Jazz actually needed to see a doctor. However, it wasn't to the point where she needed to physically be there. So what we did was we went to, I recommended this service to her called eVisit NB. And eVisit NB is a website that you can create an account. You basically book an appointment with a New Brunswick doctor that will either talk to you by phone or via Skype. Obviously, it depends on what type of situation you're in, but if you just need something like for a prescription or something like that, they had the prescription to Jazz in 30 minutes, and we picked it up at Shoppers 30 minutes later. So literally, for things like that, that's the way to go. Now, if you're chopping wood outside and you lose a finger or something, then obviously that is not the right that's not the right service for you. You take your ass, you drive to the hospital and try and you sew your finger, or get them to stitch your finger back on. Question number 5 is, would you say that seasons are shorter in New Brunswick as in summer? So we're in Canada. Canada has 4 seasons with the exception of Alberta. They, for some reason, skip fall. So sorry to you guys. But yeah, like right now at the time of this, it's November 22nd, and I'm looking out the window right now and there's absolutely no snow. We got hit with snow 3 days ago. It snowed about an inch, not even, and it was gone within the next day. And then it all melted and there's nothing again. It's like the roads aren't wet or anything, it's dry. This time last year, there was also no snow. I don't remember seeing snow until after Christmas, which is pretty cool. However, I've been told by people that have lived here a lot longer that snow can pile up really high. Just last year in Newfoundland, yeah, it's not New Brunswick, but in Newfoundland, they got hit with, 6 feet of snow overnight or something like that. It was crazy. But yes, you're in Canada. Expect some sort of winter. The snow will actually stick around until maybe March, April, maybe May, just depending on how much snow there is. I live out in the country. There's really not much snow removal on my property, so it just piles up, right? The roads are clear, but yeah, expect to see some snow until then. Just enjoy it. If you're in rural New Brunswick and it's snowing, and if there's snow, enjoy that beauty. It's breathtaking. It's lovely. In terms of the summer is pretty standard. June, July, August, maybe half of September. But yeah, it's still summer. This past summer was really dry, so it was hot and humid because we're by the water. But yeah, no, there's a lot of summer activities that you can do as well. There's a lot of winter activities. What I'll do is if you do make the move out here, I'll show you that there's a lot of stuff to do. Hit me up. I don't mind meeting people. Just as long as you're wearing a mask, I'm okay with it. Question 6 was, did you find it hard to find a house that was in good condition? Something along that lines. The housing here is different, right? So it really depends on what you want. Jazz said it best when we were discussing this today. You get what you pay for. So, if you want a super modern home for a good price, I would suggest, staying in the city, in Moncton, in St. John, or whatever. But I know personally that in Moncton, if you want more of a modern home, there's a lot of new construction going around, and there's a lot of modern townhouses. There's a lot of new modern homes. The prices might be great. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Moving out here, I didn't want a modern home. If we wanted modern living, we would have stayed in Toronto. We would have been just happy with that. But no, we wanted something that had a little bit more character. And honestly, it's awesome to say that we have a house that's older than the country. So yeah, there's a lot of work. If you want something of an older house, between 50 to 150 to even 172 years old, like this house, be prepared to put in a lot of work. And if you want to make if you want to make changes to your place, you should either have the know-how to do it if you want to save some money, or if you want to make those drastic changes, you're gonna unfortunately have to pony up the money to do so. For our exterior renovations, we had budgeted a certain amount, and with all the surprises that we got, unfortunately we actually had to go, we went over our budget. Like the well, we didn't know our well was going to dry up, which completely sucked. And we also didn't know that we were going to have foundation issues to that extent. But that was fixed. Thankfully, we had an amazing contractor who knew what to do. So again, big thank you to him. I'm currently in our master bedroom with this Victorian wallpaper and this old fireplace that's no longer in use. That got bricked up. The only reason why I'm here is because the lighting in here is awesome, and it's somewhat of an interesting background. So yeah, there's just a lot of character here. So with the housing situation, it really depends on what you're wanting, right? So for us, we wanted a big piece of land. And we knew that there was actually going to be a lot of maintenance on it. But yeah, no, we wanted an older home with a lot of land, and we did take a look at a lot of different properties. We saw another house. It was a lot smaller, had the same amount of land involved, and it was in front, it was waterfront. It's just the house itself, it just wasn't for us. I couldn't really see myself calling that one home. And last but not least, how was the process of moving here? So for us, it was a little different because we didn't have a car. We lived in downtown Toronto. What we were doing is we were walking everywhere, taking transit, or if we were taking a road trip or whatever just to get out, then we would rent a car. But there was just no need to have a car at the time. So what we did was we went to our local Honda there in downtown, bought a CRV, and we drove off that day. What we wanted was enough space that we can fit as much shit as we could into the back, and obviously fit the dog and stuff like that. But there was the TV that we wanted to bring with us that we didn't want the movers to take. So there was that. Important documents like passports, tax documents, all that kind of stuff was in a safe. It was in our safe that we brought with us, and then some an overnight bag with our clothes, because we were making that road trip. We obviously needed an extra change of clothes and stuff like that. We did hire a mover. The mover was, I want to say, we called Maple Leaf Movers. Now, if you looked them up, they had great reviews. They had awesome pricing for what we had. But then, if you are considering a mover, you know, it just really depends. Like if you're a family of 4 coming from Oshawa already in a house, it's gonna cost a lot more, right? Jazz and I were in a condo, plus like in a 1-bedroom condo plus den, so there wasn't that much furniture to begin with. We were actually surprised how much stuff we had. But what we also did was we started unloading a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace and on Kijiji. You know, just stuff that we didn't need or that maybe wouldn't fit well with our new home here in New Brunswick. Yeah, it just like we wanted to get rid of a lot of that stuff. Sure, I brought, you know, most or all my shoes with me, but the movers took care of that. But yeah, I think for us it came out to I want to say like $1,500 plus tax, where I've heard people pay up to $4,000 or $5,000. You know, it just really depends on how much stuff you have, what your situation is. If you're a single person from Toronto or just with your partner from Toronto, I can imagine you guys you haven't acquired that much stuff yet. So yeah, it really depends. But yeah, like our moving process was very smooth. The movers picked up our stuff. Then they met us at our doorstep, and then they brought everything in. So, you know, we had really no issues with it. We were worried, of course, because, you know, who wouldn't worry about all their possessions not meeting with them 2 provinces over? It's scary. But if you guys do have any other questions about that, one of my friends actually was a moving specialist who actually made the move from Hamilton out to Moncton there. So if you guys have any other questions, I can put you in touch with her, and then I should be able to answer more of those questions for you guys. So those are the most common questions that we have been asked since we put up that video. You know, I just wanted to say, you know, sorry for the lack of content. When we created this channel, we thought we were going to be, you know, putting stuff up a lot more often than we are. Unfortunately, just with you know, running a couple of different businesses and then having 2 full-time jobs between the 2 of us, just simply we don't have time. We do have a couple of other videos coming up in the next few weeks leading up to Christmas, so those should be fun. So keep an eye out for that. And like always, what I'll do is I will leave it here. You know, obviously by telling you guys, like the video, share the video. If you guys are in any other in any groups or whatever, you know, pass this information along. You know, maybe it might help out to you know, one of your friends that are considering making the move. And obviously subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notified on when we put up more videos, and that is it. Peace.